3 months of your business bank statements. Now, again, what I'm teaching you is like know the rules of the game before you play, right? You have a much better chance of winning if you understand it. So looking at your streamlined business loans as an underwriter, you want to look very closely at your statements. So here are some things to look for. Number one is the number of deposits, right? The difference between your revenue, your income deposits versus loan deposits versus transfers. So transferring from your own accounts back and forth that may inflate the number of total deposits doesn't count as far as underwriting looks like. So those are all certain things that they're going to look at. Where is the money coming from? So the frequency of deposits and from whom. So for an example, if you're in a business and you're only getting revenue from one company, one source, a bank will deny you because of that reason by itself. You might have $50 to $100, $200,000 a month. But the theory behind that is that what happens if you lose that one client? We give you this large amount of a business loan. You're going to go out of business. So have a minimum anywhere from 5, 6 different sources of deposits coming through. Something these banks look for. Look at your beginning balance and your ending balance. So a underwriter is going to look at, hey, how much cash flow is this person having? And a little bit of a little small trick that I coach on my clients is like, hey, if you have to pay a vendor on the first or the second, and you're trying to inflate and make sure that your business bank statements are looking as strong as possible, see if you can then pay them on the first or the second and leave your ending balance a little bit stronger than versus having to pay on the 31st or the 30th. Does that make sense? And so again, perception can be a key if you're at that stage of your business. And then you also look at your average ledger. So if you have some capital, or just you have a business credit card that you want to liquidate and have that sit in the bank because you're going for a business streamlined business bank statement play, right? 3 months of, then make sure that you're looking at it, your bank statements as strong as possible before you go. Increases your chances of an approval and higher amounts of money. Hopefully that makes sense. And no NSS, right? Your non-sufficient funds. If you're going through this roller coaster swings and you have a 1, 2, 3, typically about 1 or 2 within a short period, that could also get you denied. All right, so looking at your 3 months business bank statements, pull this up on my end. So you can see that the beginning balance is $9,000, customer deposit is $16,820. All the withdrawals, okay, cool, right? This person had about $16,000 and $17,000 a month in deposits from that thing left as a balance. Pretty normal scenario. And then all of a sudden, you see that the beginning balance from the carrying over here, the customer deposits, $25,000 in regular revenue. But all of a sudden, you see this other deposits for $57,000. So the total could be pretty substantial about the business deposits there, right? If you look at from the surface, it may look like it's income, but it's not. You can see he or she had this deposit from some merchant cash advancement, the $28,000, another one from Fundbox. 2 companies you want to stay away from as far as possible. I hate merchant cash advancements. I'll explain that a little bit later on. But then in the very end, right, the 60,000 carries over here. Other customer deposits, so 30,000, 40,000. And in this case, he actually used the merchant cash to increase his revenue from that. But again, you're going to have your UCCs. You're going to have these high interest, 20, 30, 50, 100% interest rates for these type of loans. But a prime example of the devil's in the details over here, right? All right, so here's one of my funding strategies for you guys. This is something that I got. I got approved for over $100,000 with PNC. And, at the time, I was working with my banker. They wanted my business. And I already knew that their max credit exposure for unsecured was 100,000. So I said, okay, I'll move my banking over. And I had some cash at a deposit over there. Then I had a little bit of flow of my revenue from my Stripe account going through that. So it had a little bit of consistent cash flow rating. I waited about 3 weeks and I applied for a $75,000 business line, and they gave me an additional 25,000 business credit card. Okay. So this is a strategy that you can use for yourself, where you can move from bank to bank by understanding, one, the story, your revenue, who you are, your character, credit, things of that nature. And then you can do this by rinse and repeating. I have no loyalty to these banks. And once I've gotten what I needed from somebody, from this bank, I'm going to move on to the next. Because if I go to 101,000 in PNC, they're going to file a UCC, or they're going to ask for a whole bunch of other documents. So the whole strategy between me getting the 1.3 million has always been about unsecured funding.
Let's make that land, guys. You want $500,000 in funding, you're not getting it from one bank. You want $500,000, you're not getting it from one bank. You're going to get that $500,000 through 5 banks at $100,000 with no UCC filings, so you're never held back, guys. That is the game. Corporate loan, business lines of credit, business loans, all of it, guys. This is available to you. This is the BLOCs you want, Samuel, for Amazon. Anybody doing Amazon, these are the BLOCs you want. $500,000 in real estate investing, are you kidding me? And not just with, subject to, but being able to have $500,000 in liquidity to throw into a market, put a property under, get a property under contract, guys, is major. This is the game. So this right here, this is the game plan, guys, to do this. You run it up 6 months, you come back in another 6 months, and now you have $1 million in funding. This is funding at a high level. I'm trying to make sure some of this information really lands with you. This is the formula to make sure that you get $500,000 to $1 million in funding.
Business is just a game, guys. It depends on how well you want to play it. And when you understand it, it's fun. It can get real fun. But again, you just have to have that skill set from all that. But look, I mean, corporate banking. I'm working with a client right now that's doing it's a $50 million business. We're getting them about a $4 or $5 million business line of credit for their company. Our banker, this is actually what they have internally at the bank, and how we're able to get screenshots of what's going on with the file. You can kind of interesting how the underwriter's notes are, inside, the banks over here, right? Customers approximately $4,000 in open revolving accounts. So these are all little small things that these underwriters look for. But again, when there is a challenge of some degree, and we have our bankers that have access to the underwriters, and we're able to feed the information. And a lot of times when we get denials, I'm actually able to school the underwriter themselves about seeing a different perspective to overturn it.